site, cuttingthroughmatrix.com. And you know, our most favored nation trading partner is China, as everyone who buys anything today knows. And going back to that article I read from the Department of Defense and the U.S. military, Marine Corps' main think tank, where they talk about the interdependence and the coming together of nations more globally. We'll fight things globally or regionally rather than nationally, you see. We'll take regional partners. And on the Mail Online, it says here, China's high-tech death van. There were death vans in China because they're very practical and pragmatic. Nothing goes to waste in China. Where criminals are executed and then their organs are sold on the black market. Then they show you a photograph of these new vans they have. I guess there were little fridges in it for the organs. And they show you a prisoner getting pushed in the back, where he's strapped on an electronic trolley that then moves him backwards, then give him 3 different injections. And I guess when they declare him brain dead, that's when they harvest the organs. They go to very wealthy people. So it's a going concern. Going concern. Under the guise, of course, that the guy's a criminal. And I always say crime pays, but not for the criminal, it's for the guys at the top, the real ones. And this is from 27th of March 2009. Death will soon come for Jiang Yong, a corrupt local planning official with a taste for the high life. Yong solicited money from businessmen eager to expand in China's economic boom. Showering gifts on his mistress, known as Madame Tang, an unmarried official took more than £1 million, that's about $2 million, in bribes from entrepreneurs wanting permission to build skyscrapers on land which had previously been protected from development. It says, but Yong, a portly, bespectacled figure, was caught by the Chinese authorities during a purge on corrupt local officials last year. Confessed and was sentenced to death. He also gets sentenced to death in China for failure to pay our income taxes. This is the model state for the world, remember. We've all got to emulate China and the other parts of their system, which is one-child policy per family, and many other aspects as well. So China executed 1,715 people last year, so one more death would hardly be remarkable. Now remember, again, going back to what I was talking about with Huxley and so on, they must devalue human life. It must be devalued. Right? And we're at that stage. And even this article is another step towards it, because China wants to export these wagons where they can put you and kill you and strip you and offer your organs so fast, so efficient, that they're hoping that other people will cash in on this whole deal. It says there'll be nothing ordinary about Yong's death by lethal injection. Unless he wins an appeal, he will draw his final breath strapped inside a vehicle that has been specially developed to make executions more cost-effective and efficient. Everything's economics these days. Economics. It says an example about chilling echoes of the gas wagon projected by or pioneered by the Nazis, etc., etc. The gun is a similar type, only even better, more efficient. You can drive it around, pick you up, and do the thing on the spot. It says, after trials of the mobile execution service were launched quietly 3 years ago, it was in the papers at the time, but they tried to keep it out of the Western papers. It says, then hushed up to prevent an international row about the abuse of human rights before the Olympics last summer, and of course the media all complied. It says, these vehicles are now being deployed across China. The number of executions is expected to rise, so it's a going concern. They'll just create more crime. All they do is create more crime on the books until everything's a crime, and they can really bump up their business and body parts. So executions are expected to rise to a staggering 10,000 people this year. It says this is not impossible for given that at least 6 to 8 crimes, including tax evasion and fraud, are punishable by death in China. Developed by Yinghuan Auto, which also makes bulletproof limousines for the new rich in this vast country of 1.3 billion people, the vans appear unremarkable. They cost £60,000 or $120,000 each to reach top speeds of 80 miles an hour and look like police vehicles on patrol. Maybe the police will start buying them. Maybe they will, with cutbacks and all the rest of it. It'll be more efficient in the Western world, won't it? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, Nothing would surprise me now. Nothing. Because we have been deculturalized. We're in a state of apathy. Most folk are narcissistic. They live in their little bubble. They really don't care about anyone else as long as it's not them. That's how far the war on us has got to. Moral relativism. So what? There's nothing moral to stand up for anymore. That's the point of it. So that's what they're doing in China. And you can read this article. I'll put the link up for that too. Then, of course, in China as well, that they think it's China, apparently they've been hacking all the government computers across the world. And it makes me wonder about this whole article. How come we at the bottom level get sold very expensive to us anyway, spyware systems? They generally don't do anything. I often wonder, in fact, if they're the authorized ones, the big ones are always popular, to gather data. It probably makes it more easy to gather data on you, in fact, when you're scanning through all your stuff. Probably sends it all off somewhere. But remember, all our computers must be hackable and have back doors that government agencies can get into. They're made that way by law. A law that was passed in the 90s. Meanwhile, we're told that our governments don't buy $50, $100, $2 spyware programs or use the freebies that we do. Whatever they're using, guarantee you, is in the millions of bucks. And yet, supposedly, they're hacked. That's what we're being told by a system that will come through email, download software into your computer, and then turn on even your controls for microphone, etc., and listen to what you're saying in the room. There was articles out in the Western world, because you see, by law, as I say, they put all these backdoors for government agencies into computers. Our own governments have been doing that since they gave us computers. So here they are complaining that China's doing it on them. It's astonishing. And apparently it's mainly to do with the Dalai Lama because of Tibet, and China wants it back. So it's Dalai Lama who first came forward and asked Canadian researchers to look into his computer system, and they found the stuff. Then they found it in almost every other country. But let's be honest, I mean, the NSA for the West is doing exactly the same thing across the world too, to every other country too. There's nothing private on the computer unless you truly are up the NSA's level. Nothing's private. And remember, they had it. They had that whole system long before we even heard of the Internet. It was the military-industrial complex that used Internet, as we now call it. I think there's Sam in Australia out there. Is Sam there on the telephone? So we'll see if he's there.
Hey,
hello?
Alan, how are you?
I'm hanging on here.
It's good to talk to you again. Good to hear you as well. I've been away for a few weeks, but had all your old podcasts to listen through to, so pretty amazing. And I've also got your books as well, so
yes.
Thank you for sending those through, and I managed to read them. They are fantastic, man. I've got a few questions I'd like to email you in the future. I want to just read through all three again, but just amazing in terms of, I mean, I'm just really grateful for the knowledge, but also the fact that it just would have taken me years and years and years to sort of get through just by, just reading these books. So you've saved me a lot of time too, so thank you very much.
Well, time's the one thing we don't have these days, eh?
No, it's pretty scary. But have you? I just watched a couple of docos recently. I'm unsure whether you've seen both of them. One's a CBC documentary called Doomsday Called Off.
No, I didn't see that one. No.
Have a good look at it. It's quite funny in the sense that it's about this whole climate change debate, and it's pretty savaging in terms of cutting. It basically disproves climate change.
Yes.
And it's amazing because they go through how the IPCC has put all this together, and that it's basically just a political agenda.
Yes.
And the fact that they've taken out the two very, very crucial elements of the whole global warming debate, and that is, historically they've taken out the